Thank you for being here today. Uh, so, everything you've been meticulously building, analyzing, perfecting, and preparing for is about to pay off in ways that exceed even your carefully managed expectations. And for someone who operates like you do, researching every option, planning every contingency, making sure every detail is handled before you commit this upcoming shift is going to feel simultaneously validating and destabilizing because it's going to require you to receive something you can't fully control. And control is where you feel safest. But what's coming is too big for your usual management strategies. This isn't incremental improvement you can schedule and optimize. This isn't gradual progress you can track on spreadsheets. This is leap. This is transformation that happens faster than your careful mind prefers, but that your exhausted spirit desperately needs. Let me describe what receiving big looks like for someone whose default mode is giving, doing, fixing, managing. It looks like opportunities arriving that you didn't create through your typical relentless effort. You've been working hard, you always work hard, analyzing what needs to happen, executing flawlessly, making sure everything's handled correctly, because if you don't do it, who will? But this opportunity isn't coming because you worked yourself to exhaustion earning it. It's coming because you're ready for it, because timing aligned, because your competence has been noticed by people with resources to reward it properly. And that distinction matters because it requires you to trust that good things can come to you without you having to sacrifice your health, your peace, your entire life force to deserve them. Or receiving big looks like help arriving that you didn't ask for because asking feels like admitting you can't handle everything alone. People stepping in to support you, resources becoming available, systems working in your favor instead of you working to make systems function. For someone who's used to being the person everyone depends on, being the one who gets depended on, feels vulnerable, unfamiliar, possibly even uncomfortable. But learning to receive support without guilt or immediate reciprocation is exactly what this phase is teaching you. Or receiving big looks like recognition for all the invisible work you've been doing, the behind the scenes organizing, the problem solving no one sees, the excellence you deliver consistently without fanfare because you're just doing what needs doing. That invisible excellence is becoming visible. People are noticing, people are acknowledging, people are rewarding what you've been giving freely without expectation of return. And if you're honest, you've been waiting for this recognition while simultaneously telling yourself you don't need it, but you do need it, and it's coming. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it feel like to receive abundance without having to prove you deserve it through excessive effort? Maybe uncomfortable at first, maybe suspicious, wondering what the catch is, what you'll be expected to give in return, when the good thing will reveal itself as obligation disguised as gift. That's your trained wariness speaking, the part of you that's learned that nothing comes free, that everything has strings, that receiving means owing. But what's coming doesn't have those strings. This is earned through cumulative competence, not through immediate transaction. This is universe or life or whatever force you believe in catching up to what you've been putting out for years without adequate return. You don't owe extra just because you're finally receiving what should have been flowing to you all along. This reflection invites you to consider, what have you been giving consistently without receiving proportional return? There's something specific about Virgo energy and why this message is particularly potent for people operating with strong Virgo influence, whether that's sun, moon, rising, or just the way your personality has developed through circumstances that rewarded perfectionism and punished rest. Virgo energy is service, is excellence, is attention to detail that others overlook, is making things work through sheer competence and willingness to handle what others won't. But Virgo energy also tends toward self sacrifice, toward giving until depleted, toward perfecting everyone else's situations while letting your own remain unfinished, toward being so busy serving that you forget you're also supposed to receive. And what's coming is correction of that imbalance. You've been in output mode for so long. You've been the competent one, the reliable one, the person who handles everything so well that people don't even realize how much you're handling. But output without input leads to depletion, and you're depleted even if you won't admit it, even if you're still functioning at high level, even if no one would know from outside observation that you're running on fumes. This shift that's coming is forcing input, is creating circumstances where you have to receive, because refusing would mean missing opportunities you've worked too hard to walk away from. This reflection invites you to consider, what parts of your life have you been neglecting while you perfect everything else? Let me describe what entire life changing might specifically look like across different domains, because vague transformation isn't useful when you need concrete information to prepare properly. And I know you need concrete information because abstract promises make you nervous. Professionally, you might be receiving position or recognition that matches your actual competence instead of being undervalued and overworked. Promotion, new opportunity, proper compensation, finally being in room instead of supporting people in room who aren't more capable than you, just more willing to claim credit. Or your own project, the thing you've been perfecting privately, is about to get visibility and traction. The work you've been doing alone, making sure it's perfect before you share it, is ready. And more importantly, the world is ready to receive it. Or you're about to leave situation that's been grinding you down. The job that takes everything and gives nothing. The role that demands excellence without providing resources. The environment where your competence is exploited rather than appreciated. And leaving will feel terrifying because you've been there so long you've forgotten what not being there feels like. But staying costs more than leaving. And you know that even if fear makes you hesitate, relationally, you might be receiving partnership that matches your energy instead of relationships where you do all the work, someone who shows up consistently, someone who handles their own life competently. So, relationship is collaboration instead of you managing another person's chaos. Or you might be receiving space freedom from relationships that have been draining you, permission to release people you've been supporting who never support you back, clarity to end dynamics where you're therapist, organizer, problem solver while your needs go unmet, For Virgo energy, sometimes receiving means receiving less obligation, less expectation, less weight, and that lightness is its own abundance. Personally, you might be receiving health, physical, mental, emotional after period of running yourself into ground, your body forcing rest you won't take voluntarily, your mind demanding boundaries you've been too responsible to set, your spirit insisting on joy you've been too busy perfecting everything to experience. Or you might be receiving clarity about what you actually want versus what you think you should want, what brings you alive versus what brings you approval, what serves your authentic life versus what serves image of perfect competent person you've been performing. This reflection invites you to consider which domain of life, professional, relational, or personal, most needs major positive change right now. There's something important about what you need to do to prepare for receiving big, because preparation is your comfort zone, but the wrong kind of preparation will block what's trying to come in. You cannot prepare for this by working harder, by doing more, by making yourself more perfect so you'll deserve what's coming. You're already deserving. Your decades of competent service have already earned this. No additional proof required. What you need to prepare is your capacity to receive without immediately converting blessing into new obligation, to accept help without immediately helping back, to let someone else handle something even if you could handle it better, to be supported instead of always supporting. That's harder for you than any amount of work would be, but it's what's required. You also need to prepare by releasing perfectionism around the how. You want to know exactly how change will unfold so you can plan appropriately, but you won't get that information in advance. Change is going to arrive messily, imperfectly, in ways your organized mind will want to resist. Let it be messy. Let yourself not have all answers immediately. Let the process be imperfect while still being exactly what you need. And you need to prepare by actually wanting good things for yourself instead of just being willing to accept them if they happen to arrive. You're so conditioned to serve others' needs that wanting things for yourself feels selfish, indulgent, inappropriate. But wanting is required for receiving. If you don't actually want what's coming, if you're just accepting it out of obligation or politeness, you'll sabotage it unconsciously because receiving what you don't genuinely want creates internal conflict. This reflection invites you to consider is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than what do you actually want for yourself, separate from what you think you should want or what others need from you. Let me address what you should not do when this big change starts manifesting, because your default responses, while useful in many situations, will work against you here. Don't immediately try to organize the change into manageable pieces before you've even experienced it fully. Don't create systems and schedules and optimization plans before you've let yourself just be in the new reality. Your urge to control through organization is going to be strong. Resist it initially. Let chaos exist briefly without immediately tidying it. Don't immediately look for problems to fix or ways the good thing isn't actually good enough. Your critical eye that notices flaws is valuable tool professionally, but it's poison when applied to blessings you're trying to receive. If something wonderful happens, let it be wonderful without immediately analyzing how it could be better. Don't refuse help or resources because accepting would mean admitting you needed them. Your pride around self-sufficiency is obstacle to receiving support that would actually make your life better. Say yes to help, say yes to resources, say yes to people wanting to make things easier for you even though you're technically capable of handling everything alone. And don't feel guilty about receiving when others aren't receiving equally. Your abundance doesn't take from others. Your good fortune doesn't require their deprivation. You can be blessed while others struggle, and that's not your fault or your responsibility to fix by refusing your own blessings. This reflection invites you to consider, what's your biggest obstacle to receiving: fear of owing, guilt about having more than others, or discomfort with not controlling everything? Let me be direct about timing because about to change needs specificity. For most of you reading this, major shift is happening within weeks, not months, not years. This is imminent change that's already building momentum, even if you can't see full picture yet. Some of you will see first major piece of change within days: job offer, relationship shift, health improvement, financial opportunity, something concrete that signals the tide is turning. Others will experience this as series of smaller shifts over next month that accumulate into obviously different life by end of that month. Not single dramatic moment, but pattern of things improving, opening, flowing more easily. Either way, the timeline is compressed. This isn't slow, gradual evolution. This is acceleration of what you've been working toward finally reaching critical mass. You remain in complete control of whether you actually receive what's coming or whether you deflect it through self-sabotage disguised as humility or practicality. You can say yes or no, open or close, trust or resist. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has activated both hope and skepticism. Hope that yes, maybe all the work has been building towards something. Skepticism because you've been disappointed before by promises of change that didn't materialize. Whatever you're feeling, honor it. Take what resonates. Softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. What's harder for you, giving help or receiving help? And why do you think that is? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And this, if your entire life could change in one specific way starting today, what change would create the most relief? Your entire life is about to change and you need to get ready to receive big, which means